I'm not usually one to share things here, but what happened to me last Christmas has left me restless. I need to get this off my chest and, who knows, maybe hear what you think it could have been. My family has a tradition. We all gather at my grandparents' old house in the countryside. It's an ancient building with that smell of aged wood and an attic that always gave me the chills. Despite that, we had never experienced anything strange there. Until last year. We arrived on Christmas Eve. Everything seemed normal. Snow was falling outside, the scent of roasted turkey filled the house, and the children were running through the halls, laughing. After dinner, it was late and most people went to bed. I stayed up, helping tidy up the living room. While I was picking up the dishes, I heard something coming from the attic. Slow footsteps, as if someone was walking barefoot across the wooden boards. I froze. The only way to access the attic was through the staircase in the hallway, and I had walked past it just seconds earlier. It had been empty. I called my brother, and together we went up to check. With each step, the footsteps became clearer. When we opened the small attic door and lit the space with a flashlight, there was nothing there, just old boxes and dust. We went back to our room, nervously laughing, convinced it was just our imagination. But on Christmas morning, everything changed. One of the kids found a present that no one had placed there. It was a small box, wrapped in old red paper that didn't match the others. Inside, there was a photograph. The photo showed our family gathered in the living room, but it wasn't from any Christmas we remembered. We were all there, exactly as we had been the night before, wearing the same clothes with the same expressions, even the dishes on the table. But in the background of the photo, at the window, there was a figure. It looked like a person, but it was so blurry that it was impossible to tell who or what it was. We thought someone was playing a bad joke. But when we looked at the photo again, the figure had moved. It was now inside the room, standing in the corner, as if it was watching us. The rest of the day was tense. No one admitted to leaving the box, and everyone was on edge. When night fell, more strange things started happening. The Christmas tree fell over on its own, as if someone had pushed it forcefully. The lights flickered, and my grandparents' old radio turned on by itself, playing a Christmas song no one recognized. We decided to leave that same night. Since then, no one has gone back to the house. My grandparents say they'll never open the attic again, and the photo is tucked away in a drawer, wrapped and forgotten. But sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I still feel like something or someone is watching me. Has anyone else experienced anything like this? What would you do? I've never been one to believe in the supernatural, but last Christmas made me rethink a lot. I don't know if it was a coincidence, imagination, or something beyond that. Let me share this with you. My younger sister has always loved taking pictures with Santa Claus at the mall. It's a tradition we've followed since she was little. Last year, we decided to go last minute on December 23rd. The mall was packed with the typical holiday rush. When we got to the area where Santa's throne was set up, we immediately noticed something was off. The line was almost empty, and the setup looked a bit worn down, like no one had taken proper care of it. Santa himself seemed strange. His beard looked almost too real, but his eyes were unsettling. They were dark, lifeless, and he wore a fixed smile that didn't seem natural. My sister hesitated, but we convinced her to sit on his lap for the photo. I stayed back, snapping a few pictures with my phone while the official photographer did his job. When she got up, Santa held her hand longer than he should have and murmured something I couldn't make out. My sister seemed uncomfortable but didn't say anything. The night went on normally, at least at first. When we got home, she started acting strange. She said she felt cold, even with the heater on, and claimed she could hear someone calling her name. We thought it was just exhaustion or maybe the start of a cold. In the middle of the night, I woke up to a noise. It was Santa's laugh. I'm not joking. That deep, forced laugh we had heard at the mall. I got out of bed and found my sister standing in the hallway, staring at the front door, which was slightly open. I asked her what she was doing, and she answered almost like she was sleepwalking. "He said he needs me. He's outside waiting." I rushed to the door, slammed it shut, and locked it, pulling her back to her room. She didn't remember any of it the next morning. The following day, I decided to look at the photos I had taken at the mall. I thought showing them to her might cheer her up since she was still feeling off. When I opened my phone's gallery, my heart sank. In the first photo, Santa was staring directly at the camera. He wasn't looking at my sister or the official photographer. He was looking at me, as if he knew exactly where I was standing. In the second photo, taken just seconds later, his smile had turned grotesque, revealing rotting teeth and a gaze that seemed hollow. The third photo was the worst. I don't remember taking it, but it showed my sister standing in the hallway at home, facing away with the front door wide open. It was the exact scene I had witnessed in the middle of the night. Since then, we haven't gone back to malls during Christmas, and my sister has never spoken about Santa again. But sometimes at night, I still hear that laugh. Was it real? Has anyone ever experienced anything like this? I don't know where to start. This happened on Christmas Eve this year, and I'm still trying to figure out if what I experienced was real or some sort of collective nightmare. I'm writing this while still feeling the weight of what happened. As always, I spent Christmas with my family. It was a peaceful night, or at least it was supposed to be. We were all in the living room, listening to Christmas music, eating and sharing stories. Outside, it was bitterly cold, but the snow was falling in a beautiful way, giving everything that magical Christmas vibe. Around 11 p.m., the power went out. Everything fell completely silent, except for the sound of the wind outside. We thought it was just a power outage, something normal for our region during the winter. We grabbed some candles and kept chatting. That's when we heard the noise. A heavy sound, like footsteps, coming from outside on the porch. My dad went to the window but couldn't see anything except the falling snow. He said it was probably the wind or an animal. We tried to ignore it. The noises continued, but now they were closer. Something was scratching the walls, like nails scraping against the wood. My brother grabbed a flashlight and pointed it out the window. The beam of light caught something that looked like a tall, hunched figure standing in the middle of the yard, but it vanished as soon as the light hit it. We thought it was someone trying to scare us, maybe a neighbor or even a drunk person from the area. My dad opened the door and shouted for the person to leave. There was no response, just silence. We went back inside and locked the door, but the atmosphere had changed. The temperature in the house seemed to drop, even though the heater had been working fine before the power went out. And that's when we heard the most terrifying thing. A laugh. It wasn't human. It was deep, distorted, like a sound coming from something trying to mimic a person. The laugh came from upstairs. We went up together, all of us nervous, with my brother leading the way, flashlight in hand. When we reached the hallway, we saw that the door to my bedroom was open. I was sure I had left it closed. Inside the room, there was nothing, except for wet footprints leading from the window to the bed. The window was locked from the inside. We couldn't sleep that night. We all stayed in the living room, huddled together, trying to convince ourselves that we were safe. The power came back on in the morning, but no one could explain what had happened. Since then, I felt like something is watching me, especially at night. I don't know what it was, but one thing is certain. This was the most terrifying Christmas of my life. If anyone has gone through something similar or knows what it could have been, please tell me. I don't know what to think anymore.